Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, I'll be explaining everything we have accomplished in terms of our app up until release 1. So let's get started. First and foremost, there are three things that we want to cover in this video. So the first one is where we left off in the last video. Where we left off in the previous sprints, we will talk about that. And then we will also talk about the new progress that we've made up until release 1 with level 2 and level 3. So let's get started. First and foremost, in the previous sprint, we talked about a login page that we have over here. This login page, we talked about that it would have a user input and a password. And then later on in the future, we would implement a validation system where only certain people who have access to these accounts can log in. And that is the login page. And this, of course, is our home page. Secondly, we covered level 1 last time, and I'll quickly go over that again. So when we press on level 1, it's kind of an animation that goes and shows how the merge sort algorithm is working. Here we can see there are 10 numbers that are randomly generated, and we have a nice demonstration of how the algorithm is working just over here, as we can see. And of course, the same thing we talked about is that if I go back to level 1, we can see that there is a new set of 10 numbers that are generated. And of course, this will complete level 1. So going back to the home and going back to the merge sort levels inside the home page, we can see that we have level 2 over here, which we worked on for this release, for release 1. So I'll be walking through a demonstration of level 2. So in level 2, we are first presented with a set of also as well 10 randomly generated numbers ranging from 1 to 20. And the whole point of level 2 is to have a little bit of a somewhat guide for the user to understand how the algorithm works interactively. And this is what I will be demonstrating here. So when the user is first presented with these 10 numbers, it says in the instructions here, randomly generate 10 numbers ranging from 1 to 20. They press this they press this blue box over here. Once they press it, it basically means that they're ready to move on to the next step. So they press that button and it will take us to the next step. And here it will tell us to split the array as evenly as possible. And then it says the two broken down arrays now have a length of 5. And now it's our job to interactively place the numbers here, which I will do. So I will just simply press on an empty slot over here and it turns yellow. When it turns yellow, I know as a user that now I can actually select any number from the array that would go into this yellow slot. So I will choose here 7. I will choose 7, and then I will choose here 3, and then I will choose 20, and then 15. And as you can see, when I'm pressing the yellow, I can just press a number from here and it will go towards where the yellow is. Now press 13 over here, 17, 9, 11, 10, and 16. So the user, me, I have now filled out the array, the two evenly broken down arrays of length of 5. And then now, as a user, I want to check if what I put is right. So if I press, I want to check answer. So I press check answer. And then we see that there is a sound feedback, that little dingy sound. It's a feedback to show the user that it's correct. And this sound effect was actually used using Expo Audio Video, or also known as Expo AV. So when you press that button, it basically calls a function to make that sound. And that is the audio feedback that we have implemented in level 2 and also part of this release. So the user sees this, and also, of course, there is text feedback over here. It says your answer is correct. So the user sees this and they want to move on to the next step. So as we discussed before, we press on that blue box. So we press on that blue box here. And now we move forward to the next step. Now it says, again, split the two splitted list of numbers as evenly as possible, which it already did it for us over here. The broken down arrays are now of lengths 2 and 3, as we can see. So now same thing as we did from before. But actually what I want to do this time is that I actually want to make a mistake. So let's say, for example, I was not paying attention in the first level and I didn't understand how it worked. So I did a mistake. So I did this. I pressed on this to activate, where I want to place a number. And I actually pressed 3 over here. I press 3. And over here, I press 7, and then 20, and then 15, and then 13. And then I just kind of press all the numbers here. And we'll see what works here. 11, 10, and 16. Now, clearly, look, I have made a mistake. The 3 and the 7, they're swapped places. They're in the wrong place. They're supposed to be swapped. However, as a user, maybe I did not understand this while I was playing the game, and I pressed check answer. And as you can see, there is that same Expo AV audio feedback that we're getting here. And of course, the ringtone or the tone for the wrong sound isn't the same thing as the right sound. So the user, by the audio and by the text over here, as we can see in front of us, that your answer is wrong, they can know that this answer is wrong. So now I want to fix that. So I would press on 3 again over here, and I replace it with the 7, and then I press the 7 over here, and I replace it with the 3 that's supposed to go over here. Now, as we can see, I did it properly, but the user doesn't know that yet. They will find out very soon once they press the check answer button. And as you can see, that's the audio feedback that we got, and it says that your answer is correct. And we move on, and the user presses the blue box over here, and they keep moving on and going to the next steps. And it's a very nice interactive way that has both kind of an audio feedback, and it's an interactive way for the user to learn the algorithm while they're playing the game. So that same thing over here, just to kind of demonstrate 15, 13, 17, 9, 11, 10, and 16. And then, of course, check answer. There you go. It's right. And then we just move on. And that's how level 2 works. So we will go back to home. And then the user kind of completes the array over here. We'll go back to home over here. And now when we press that button, we're back to the home page. And now if we go to merge store algorithm again, and we go to level 3, I will actually be sharing this level 3. I'll press it over here, and then I'll also press it on the screenshot as well, but I'll talk about it in a minute right now. So level 3 over here, the whole point of level 3 is to also include a multiple choice, a section where the user can actually decide how they want the array to be broken. So as you can see in level 2, as you saw, the arrays were already broken down. It was already broken down where the user doesn't have to actually decide how they want to break it down. So if it's 5s and 5s, that's broken down. The game itself in level 2 does that already. However, in level 3, the user actually has to decide on that. So we did it using a multiple choice feature where when it's in the next step, the user would, when moving on to the next step, the user would have a pop-up, a multiple choice pop-up where they can select using radio buttons, they can select the correct way of how they want to split that in array, how they want to split the current array that they're on. And I want to demonstrate that just using a screenshot here. And the reason why we're using the screenshot is that this was implemented and made. However, it was made in a different branch. But this is a function that still works within our project. So if I'm looking at the screenshot here, it says, how do you want this array to be split? As you can see, the first option, it gives us these 3 options. And then basically the user would press on one of these radio buttons in the way they want to split the array. So as you can see, the first one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 4, or there is 1 and 9, or there's 5 and 5, which is the correct answer. And the user is able to press the correct answer and then press check. And the function in the check button would check if it's correct, and it would give a correct feedback. Or if they, for example, they chose option 1 over here or option 2, it would give them a wrong feedback once they press check. and it will also give them the opportunity to redo their answer. And that was the whole point of step 3, is to also include that multiple choice features that has multiple choice options where you can actually decide how you want to split the array. And as we know, there will be no instructions on that in level 3. However, there will be on level 2. So really, this is the scope of what we have accomplished in release 3, in release 1. And thank you very much for watching the video, and we hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the tutorial. Thank you and have a great day.